The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 170.
Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of successful women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Subscribe to our newsletter by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have a special lady on who's all the way from Miami, Florida. She is a real estate agent and also a marketing consultant, and I'm just grateful to have her on today to share her story. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Marian. Marian, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
So I'm here located in Miami, and I am a real estate agent and marketing consultant, but I focus primarily on millennial entrepreneurs and startups. And a lot in the hospitality restaurant industry, since that was my background. Before I came to Miami, I was in LA, and I used to do a lot of the branding, marketing, and social media for restaurants and chefs. I've kind of integrated, doing something different here in Miami. I've kind of integrated my passion with what's going on here in Miami.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Marian, what's your cultural background?
I'm Filipina. I was born in the Philippines, moved to LA when I was 4, grew up my whole life in Los Angeles, and moved out here about less than 2 years ago.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I like Mahatma Gandhi's quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," because I really think that self-confidence comes from within.
Thanks for sharing that. And I believe as well, right? If you ever want to see change, outside, it has to start with you, because once people see the change inside you, it makes them want to be inspired or take action in their own lives. So I really love that quote. I know it's like a cliche, but it's a really good and powerful quote. So thanks for sharing that. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
For me, self-confidence is something, it really relates to the quote. It's something that starts inside, and it's a ever-growing process. It's not something, for me, I don't feel like you kind of get it overnight. You slowly build it. And I think as you get older with experiences, life experiences, personal experiences, you kind of add on to that. But the more you work on yourself, I think that's what really shows.
Thanks for sharing that definition. And I believe the same thing. It always has to start with you, whether it's, having a business, finding a partner to spend your life with. It always has to start with you, because once you, start working on yourself, that's when you can, attract the right things into your life. So great definition.
And I think it manifests in all aspects. And it really wasn't until I started doing that I saw the change outside. All the things I had wanted to achieve externally, when I was focusing on the external things, I was getting frustrated. But once I started focusing on myself and really adapting, the philosophy and thinking that the better I become as a person, the more I'm able to do and help.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. So thanks for sharing that. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I was I did all the supposedly right things, right? I went to school, I went to college because I had to go to college. My parents wanted me to become either a nurse or a doctor, very Filipino. And I went to college at UC Irvine, was pre-med when I started, and changed majors my second year because it wasn't for me. And that was really once I started thinking, like, what else is there? In my whole life, it was always like to go to medical school. It's a very typical, it's Asian mentality. And when I switched majors and did something in international studies and sociology and went to business, I also followed the corporate route. So it felt like I did what was expected of me or what I had to do, and glad that it was a really good foundation. But I came to a point where I can't do this. It just didn't feel right. And once I started really thinking about what I wanted to do and kind of stepped out on my own, that's really when things just started. I discovered more about myself and what I really wanted to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think too, as Asian women, we're always ingrained in our heads, we have to go a certain way. Like that path is so rigid, we can't go outside of the box. And it traps a lot of women, because I know, sometimes it's not what they want to do, but it's what they're expected to do, because, they're the good daughter, the good sister, the good wife, or, and it's so insane you don't get a lot of support. Yeah, I mean it is insane. I mean, I'm sure people who are listening to this can relate as well. They just feel like they're trapped, but because they're torn between what they're meant to do versus what they're supposed to do. So, what was that aha moment in your life when you realized you could break free and do the things that you wanted to do versus what you're supposedly to do?
So it really started for me. I was working full time at an IT consulting company, and I started blogging, like food blogging on the side, and was definitely a lot of food blogging, and just really for fun, going to restaurants and started talking about that. And that was kind of when Twitter started, and I got on Twitter, and it was really all for fun. And then people started contacting me like on the side, and with the blogging, and I actually got invited by CBS LA to be one of the contributors, and people that I didn't know started commenting on my stuff, and I was like, huh, okay. So I started kind of doing the food blogging thing on the side, and it started going to a point where I had wanted to leave my marketing job. I'm like, how come I haven't combined both? I'm really good at marketing and the branding thing, and I loved it, but not in the industry that I was in. I really love food and restaurants, hospitality. Like, what if I can kind of merge that two together? So that's sort of the initial thing that kind of got me in the path that started it to where I am now. And then I eventually started working for a startup that had to do with restaurants and food tours, and did things sort of in that, worked with the startup environment, and then ended up working for, I don't know if you have this in Canada, Seafood City. I know it's primarily here in the U.S. Seafood City Supermarket, and it's a Filipino chain of supermarkets and restaurants, and it was a big corporation. And although I enjoyed the marketing side, I was just like, I feel like I need to go off on my own. And if I was working so hard, I felt like I needed to do this for myself. So that was kind of really the catalyst. And after that was my last corporate job. I ended up quitting and starting my own restaurant consulting business, and haven't really turned back since from working on my own.
Awesome. That's a pretty awesome story. You just started blogging for fun, and look where it's gone. Look how far it's gone now. You went from quitting your job to starting your own business. I don't know if you've ever watched that movie with Julia Stiles. It's pretty much the same thing. She blogged for fun, and because of that, she was able to write a book. I totally forgot the name of the movie, but it's.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I'm really, it's really inspiring how you turn something that was fun into something like, how can I monetize this passion, right? Because a lot of people out there, they just feel like they can't do it, right? Or they feel like, oh, it's just for fun. It's just a hobby. There's no way I can make money off of it. But, you were just like, how can I versus I can.
Yeah.
And, when those three words are really important. When you just start saying, how can I? That's when the things start coming to you, right? There's signs that will tell you, or, a path that will tell you, go this way. This is what you're meant to be.
Yeah. And the universe kind of starts aligning things. And it was really, it was difficult, I have to admit, because there really wasn't any support. I had friends who weren't Asian, and when they wanted to do something entrepreneurial, their parents were like, yes, go for it. You can do it. You have my support. And whereas here, I faced a lot of, don't do it. That's really stupid, and that's not smart, and that's not really, you already have something stable. Why take the risk? It was like an uphill battle, especially moving here to Miami too. That was actually, I think, my biggest leap of faith in myself. I didn't have people like, did you have a job beforehand? I didn't. I kind of fell in love with Miami. There's an energy here. It's a young city, and people think that Miami is just South Beach, but it's not. I live in downtown near Brickell, and here there's so much growth. The startup entrepreneurial scene is booming here. People are very collaborative, and because it's such a young city, there's so much room for growth and development, and you could really start something here and make it big. And what I love about it is that I've kind of combined my passion for food and restaurants that I still had back then with the real estate that I'm doing now. So I actually work with clients. I not only help them, find their places to live, but a lot of times they're small business owners or entrepreneurs who want to start a business, want to start have a small office or start a restaurant, and I help them in aspects. And I have a partner in the marketing side, and we're actually starting the very first Brickell Restaurant Week.
Awesome. Well, you got a lot of stuff, lined up for you, exciting things. I'm really happy that you're able to, overcome all these obstacles and be able to live the life that you want. So, Marian, if our listeners, if a woman's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence, what would be that one tip you'd give to her?
really believe in yourself. And once you believe, and I know it sounds cliche, but I came here without a job. I had some savings, but I was like, you know what, I have enough faith that I, have the skills to find something. And it was difficult at first. I actually started serving again. Like I had served back in college. I went to bartend and served like part time while I was trying to get my bearings and meet people and socialize. And I did what I had to do. And now that things are rolling back, I actually tap into that resource. So some clients and referrals have gone from the people that I used to work with or the managers and like, hey, I know someone that's looking for a place or opening their own restaurant. Can you help them? So it's kind of like I think I had to go through that in order to be where I am now. So it just believe in yourself and have faith, and the universe sort of brings you signs that you're going in the right direction.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I believe, some people may think that the path they're in may not look as what they thought it would look like. But, I always believe that the universe will always take you to the right path, even if it doesn't look it, because, you have to learn some things to become a stronger and better person. So I love the tip that you mentioned. It's true. We really have to believe in ourselves, like 110%, like believe in ourselves, because that's when we can go out there and do the things that we want to do.
And it's humbling, too, because when I started, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm serving again. And I started thinking about I'm college educated, I had this job, I was like, you know what? No. I had to do what I had to do. And in the end, looking back, I'm so glad I did it. I met so many amazing people that it helps with my business now. Like, I had to go through that, but I couldn't see it when I was going through it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, so many people can't see it until after, right? And after they're like, I'm grateful for that experience. So great tip. And Marian, if our listeners want to connect with you, maybe want to check out your food blog, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
I don't food blog anymore, but I have my website. Well, I contribute to Miami Bites, but you can find me at marianbacol-uba.com. It's Marian Bacol-Uba. And I'm on Instagram as Marian Lux Realty, LuxRealty, and that's the same for Snapchat and Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Marian's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really just want to thank Marian for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Sheena.
It was an honor. To our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll catch you later. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Check out our resources to help you jumpstart your inner journey to self-confidence by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com.